everyone. Welcome back to the new episode of our Uplift podcast series. And today we are trying to bring some court culture to our podcast. And therefore, we have a special guest with us who is actually going to bring the Indian constitution as well as the religious jurisprudence into a mix. And our guest is someone who is deeply entrenched in all these kind of sensitive matters which we are hearing every day now and then with respect to the complex religious issues which are being argued in front of the Supreme Court, be it with the Waqf board or anything of that sort. And he's also actively practicing, I would say, in the Supreme Court as well as in the Allahabad High Court. So today we have Advocate Shaurya Krishna with us. And Shaurya is also the alumni of National Law University in Ranchi. And now as an advocate in front of us. So welcome, Shaurya, and thank you so much for accepting my invitation.
Ma'am, thank you very much for considering me, and I'm feeling humbled and honored to be a part of this enriching academic journey that you are starting. And I wish you all the very best. And before starting the podcast, I somehow very keenly remember that fortunately I was from a college from which you have done your masters, and there was one paper of admin law. I don't think so you would anyway remember that, because it was a general, experience of teaching the juniors for you. But for me, it was very enriching and very inspiring because I think I was in hot waters in that paper, that admin law, and some of the concepts were not clear. And when I was having my breakfast in the mess of that NUSRL, the delicious meals that we used to have. so So you cleared a lot of my doubts when I was going for the paper, and your papers were over at that point of time.
Yes.
So that was a great help to me, and whatever you expressed, whatever you taught, all of them came in my paper. So congratulations to you that since then and now I'm seeing you. So it's been a great journey, ma'am, and the command that you have over the subject, it's not something new that we see. So for me, I know, and I always knew that you were going to enrich a lot of lives of a lot of law students. So congratulations and kudos to you, ma'am, as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shaurya. I think we have turned the table round. It's more of you introducing me in my podcast rather than me introducing you. So now I have a
No,
pressure
ma'am.
before starting that I need to put on more words for you that how
Mm,
good you are at your work.
no, ma'am,
And
not required, ma'am. Already
to be
humbled.
very
Please tell
honest, yes, to be very honest, seriously, I don't actually remember. Yes, I do remember that we used to take those, those sessions which used to happen, often then. But at the same point, you have remembered that. That is more heart touching
me.
to me.
Yes, that
Thank you
saved
so much
me.
for that.
That
Thank you
saved
so
me,
much
and
for
hence
that.
I'm sitting in my office now.
Oh my God. Now the real pressure starts.
No, no, ma'am.
Okay,
Please
Shaurya.
continue.
So
Yes.
once again, welcome, and we'll just quickly start now. See,
Hmm.
I actually kind of know your journey,
Hmm.
so I will be just moving towards the actual things which we should talk about, right?
Right.
So I have been following you, and I see that you've been involved in a lot of good matters and matters which have a lot of complexities as well. Okay, to name some, I do have some board case, Waqf Act. You have actually been the part of it. Then Krishna Janmabhumi, Gyanvapi, the Masjid case, everywhere. I can see your name everywhere. So I just want to hear from your side that what was being involved in such matters which we hear like a religious jurisprudence, and not just I would say legally, but I would also like you to give and throw some light socially, that your involvement and how these high stake matters are today impacting our society at large.
Ma'am, first of all, I have had this privilege of assisting Shankar Jain sir those matters. So I believe, ma'am, that courtroom is a search engine of truth,
Hmm.
and while being constitutionally balanced, it also explores faith and our history. So our object and my object is not to target any particular community, but to bring out the truth from the history and to restore the glorious tradition and the culture we had in our country.
Hmm.
So we have been subject from where we are coming, the roots that we have. And it is again not fighting against any religion or any community. It is more than fighting for some civilizational clarity that we ought to have in this time. And let's see, ma'am, where it goes. The matters are still pending before the
Yes,
court.
yes. Hmm.
So I must not say anything, but dialogue and due process.
Hmm.
And that both these two elements are very important to
Hmm.
conclude any chapter in any jurisprudence if you are considering it in front of Indian courts. And in Indian courts, they act as a moral compass for all of us to guide us through all these disputes that we have. There are some historical wounds that are unhealed, that are not treated, that were not being talked about. So we are basically talking about these matters before before the exact forum where we should have. So we are working upon Gyanvapi Masjid. I'm assisting my senior in that matter. I am assisting him in Sri Krishna Janmabhumi, the mosque that is there in Sambal, the disputed monuments that we have.
Hmm.
So they are basically they are ASI protected monument
Hmm.
by the virtue of government orders which was passed in the pre-independence era. So these all matters are still into the consideration of the courts, and I think I should not comment more upon that. But they are
No.
very important. They are very
Yes,
important
yes. Of
to be
course.
decided. Yeah,
Yes. So that's how I brought, religious jurisprudence into picture, because you
right,
being involved in so many different matters, it's actually a kind of, I can say, a learning experience for you as well. And like you rightly
correct.
pointed out that, it's on the court that how they take things forward, but at the same point of time, we need to see the social layering which is happening because of such matters, and what are the outcomes which are coming. So that are the most
Correct,
important
correct, correct.
aspects which has to be
Very,
taken into account.
very correct. Very correct.
So, Shaurya, moving forward, if I'll talk about you and your work culture, so I can see that you spans from Supreme Court to High Court to tribunals, NCLT, NCLAT. You are been practicing in the places like Noida. You've been traveling to Allahabad as well. So I can say in one word, you have a diversified docket. That's all I can put it across in one word. How is this experience? Like, how do you manage things, and how things are for you? Like, what do you want to comment on this?
Pretty tiring. But at the
Honest
same
answer.
time,
Huh.
I believe that my passion and my love towards the subject of law is driving me everywhere. And somehow it is not advisable, and it is said by many of my seniors that you should have your practice in a singular domain.
Hmm.
But I take interest in every subject that I take. And every court of law, I believe, as an advocate, it becomes your duty to fight for the people, to represent the litigants in any court. It doesn't matter if it's a district court or it's a Supreme Court. But lately, since I have some governmental responsibilities as well, so I've been practicing, and I'm stationed in Supreme Court since I think more than 8 or 9 months. That I could not go in any other court. It's very difficult for me to come out of the Honorable Supreme Court and go and do my own personal matters. But I'm very thankful for the technology that we have now. The only good thing that COVID gave us, that is the virtual hearing.
Virtual hearing.
So I am being able to do my matters, whether it is in NCDRC or in Delhi
Hmm.
High Court or in any other court. Even in Allahabad High Court now we have virtual hearing
Virtual
facilities.
hearings. Yes.
Yes, and sometimes there in a day there are many matters that gets clashed. So one matter is in NCLT, one is in NCDRC, one is in uh, PMLA, Appellate Tribunal, and Supreme Court. So I can't leave Supreme Court because I do not enjoy such seniority in Supreme Court that the honorable judges would understand from me, and they are sitting and they are coming to the court, and I am appearing through virtual conferencing. So it does not give that good impression upon the judges, though they promote it, they
Hmm.
promote virtual conferencing. But as a matter of principle, I think I should be stationed, and I keep myself stationed at Supreme Court.
Mm.
and do my matters litigations in other courts through virtual conferencing. And it's very enriching.
Mm.
It's very enriching and it's very powerful and effective as well.
Effective as well.
So,
So, I was about to go to our next question, but before I go to my next question, you have actually kind of answered my question,
hmm,
which I was going to ask. The
hmm,
best part you said about the matter of principle. So, the best takeaway I can see is that how you are nicely putting up the hierarchy and then the way you're respecting things, right? So, this is something which should be learned. Okay, understood that virtual hearings
right.
are something which has been accepted by everywhere. Okay, these
Correct.
days we can do it everywhere, even
Correct.
when we are appearing in front of honorable Supreme Court or any of the honorable justice who is sitting there. But at the same point of time, it is us that how we are treating and how we are taking that particular perspective and that premises. So that is
Correct.
very important, because the moment you start respecting your work, I think this is something, it is going to give us back it tremendously.
It comes naturally.
It
When
comes
you
naturally.
start going to the court, you get into the shoes of a practicing advocate. Then you
Right.
automatically get into that sphere where you understand the hierarchy, and
Exactly.
you are being told by someone, or you see people how they are acting. And this profession is so enriching, ma'am. I mean, there are so many legal luminaries. There are so many living legends that we keep seeing in courts regularly, and they I don't think so they have any other motivation left, apart from the motivation, apart from the love they have for the subject, apart from the love they have for the profession. So this is so enriching for us, the
Truly,
senior
truly.
advocates that we see in the
Hmm.
courts, be it a Supreme Court, be it High Court, be it District Court.
Great,
So we
great.
are blessed in that regard.
Actually, very true. Now, since you have mentioned about the Honorable Supreme Court and you have mentioned about the other places as well where you practice, so I just want to talk about this place and the culture. Okay. And because we have so many students and young lawyers who are going to be our listeners, so I just want to ask and I just want to know that what are the basic things which is accountable for them and what are the basic court cultures which they should be aware of. Okay. And you know I just remember one instance which you mentioned, if you just remember about the reel. So I will not go into detail but I do remember about the cutting it short and putting it in naturally. I would say that you actually focus more stating that people are more focused towards what they are doing, where they are, rather than what
Ah,
are they doing.
correct,
So
correct, correct, correct.
yes, yes. So I will not take
So
the exact words which we mentioned behind the scenes, but at the same point of time, taking those things into consideration, I just want to let to you to give this kind of message that what is this court culture all about and how this mentorship and grounding can come and enhance the young students and the young lawyers.
To be very honest, I keep seeing interns roaming around the courtroom. I remember what I said. I should not have, but yeah, that's the very bitter truth
True.
that we encounter almost every day, and especially when the internship season comes. So, first of all, we should realize that as a practicing advocate, uh, we are not influencers. We are not social media influencers. Our job is to assist or to represent the litigant. But it does not mean that we should stop promoting or making people aware of the thing. Those are different things. But
Different
if you are
things.
coming to the court only with the intention of getting pictures clicked and posting them up on social media and getting likes and getting validation, it will not take you far, because these are very short-term pleasures that people or the law students these days they seek. But more than that, if they want to come into practice, they should join a good chamber, not necessarily chamber of a good senior or a very famous senior, but any chamber that has some more and more work
Work.
involved.
Hmm.
So work culture matters a lot. Names
Hmm.
don't matter. So when you go to
Exactly.
the court, because your senior has made his name, his or her name in the court,
Hmm.
now
Hmm.
it's your turn. So it doesn't matter whether you go to a famous chamber or a famous law firm or any big corporate houses. The thing that matters is wherever you go, whatever, even if there is only one matter, you read it, you prepare it well. And mentorship is very important in this profession. And sometimes it happens from the perspective of senior. I'm just speaking this out. It is not possible for one advocate or one person to mentor each and every intern or each and every junior that he or she is having. So this
True.
is just a time constraint. We are already so much loaded with lots of work and lots of research and lots of thinking and thought process. It never ends. So thoughts, the good and the bad part about our thoughts is that it does not have a switch. We can't switch
Exactly.
off whenever we want. We can't switch on whenever we want.
Hmm.
So a good mentorship is very necessary, very, very important. And it starts from the college itself, I think. In the college, in the law school, it starts from there. You have to pick your mentors. You have to see what other your alumni is doing and who is the person who is connected to that alumni. You should talk to him.
Doctor.
Should not sit with mediocre people. I'm not saying that everyone is mediocre, but everyone has different goals. So any law student or any other young lawyer should sit with someone who aligns with his or her goals and should avoid sitting with someone who does not align with the goals. Because
Understood.
journey is something else. You should
Yes.
follow the journey where you want to be.
So technically, your understanding about is that the student should be more focused on what they are trying to do, no matter whichever subject matter they are taking or whichever rules and regulations or
Correct.
forum they are
Correct.
following. And basically, they have to be more focused and then get their networking done straight according to their thought process. So
Exact.
I
And
think
it starts from the college.
it
It
starts from the
starts
college.
it starts from the law school that they are in. They have have your fun, have your enjoyment in the college, but keep this back in your mind. That is all.
And I think we can better understand about it.
I know.
Yes,
I'm
we
a
can
good example.
again, again turning the table round with a serious conversation. We have a turntable
No, no,
now.
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shaurya, there's one more thing which I wanted to ask. We have, we actually, I would say we are aware of this fact, and even we were discussing that, trial courts are somewhere where the lawyers are truly made. And we had this kind of discussion as well. So
Hmm.
I just want to know that what is your perspective about it? Because what happens most of the time, people just think that, okay, fine, we are going to the High Court, we are going to the Supreme Court, and they just think, in a larger picture, in a rosy picture, which gets in front of them. But at the same point of time, this is a fact which has been stated by you as well. And somewhere down the line, even I am quite convinced with this particular statement. So what is
Hmm.
your take on that?
I'll tell you a very unorthodox thought, a very strange thought. I'm already apologizing to my seniors in Supreme Court in advance, who are practicing so well, who are working so rigorously. Supreme Court is the most convenient court in India to practice. The real test begins in the trial court. What we get in Supreme Court is the complete, well cooked meal. We just have to garnish it with lemons and good words and coriander.
Yes.
That's all. The real test happens. The real battleground is the trial court. And the whole CRPC Supreme Court is mentioned just once. And that is all.
That is all.
What is written by a trial court, what is being argued in the trial court, we cannot amend it in Supreme Court. Even Supreme Court judge cannot amend it. The death penalty, the power of writing a death penalty, imposing a death penalty and a capital sentence is of the district judge, of the sessions judge. High Court and Supreme Court can only confirm it. High Court can upheld it and Supreme Court uphold it and Supreme Court can confirm it.
Confirm it. Mm.
But death penalties is such a severest or the gravest, I mean, say, punishment Only trial court can give this, and on the basis of the arguments that were presented by the
That was
advocates.
presented. True.
So you understand the responsibility that the trial court advocates have on their shoulders. So you have to start from the scratch. When if you go directly to the Supreme Court, you join a hi-fi fancy chamber of some big shot lawyer, and you go to the court, you'll be only carrying the files. You won't understand what is written in the files. If an FIR is lodged, sometimes it is lodged by the police, sometimes it is lodged by the orders of the magistrate, and how complaint cases are being treated. What are the statements that the court records on which sometimes the charges are formed? What is the criminal revision? What is the civil revision? So all these revisional courts are there. Apart from now, what Supreme Court is the appellate court or the having the original jurisdiction. But what about the revision, which is a very important aspect of any legal jurisprudence, any dispute in that manner. So trial court is very important. Trial court advocate is the complete advocate, in my opinion. And I
Okay.
have done my practice in trial courts, and I can see the stark difference. Like
Hmm.
now, I am very much acquainted with the functioning of the Supreme Court, and it is so convenient in the Supreme Court to practice. There is a there are set principles, there are set hierarchies, there is a set protocol in which the matters are filed, in which the matters are called on which questions, the limited question, Supreme Court asks limited questions. It's just a question of law, while trial court is a question of fact, question of law, sometimes a question of existence when I was practicing there. It's not much pay in the initial days, but if you have a command over the subject, if you have command over the trial court proceedings, you'll definitely have an edge in the higher courts as well, be it high court, be it Supreme Court.
So, what I get through from the conversation which we had, that whenever we enter into this profession, or maybe whenever we opt for law, we never think, I don't think even we might have thought, because at that point of time,
Mm,
integrated law was very new for all of us, that we are
correct.
going to enter into a noble profession. But the moment we enter into it, we know that what kind of justice is being provided, and we are the person who is acting as a mediator for all these things. So
Correct.
what
Exactly.
kind of role and responsibilities we are playing is something which we get to know when we are into this profession, unlike other professions where people are already very focused that yes, of course, we are going to do this and we are going to do
Mm,
that. So
mm,
that is one thing. And secondly, what I got to know when you mentioned so much about the trial court, that it's not only about making a good advocate, but it is also about learning the procedural, the substantive aspect which we are teaching the students now and then in the theoretical part, is something which you can actually see practically over there. So, which is again very important for imparting ourselves that kind of skill set that we can take through. So, I think, yes, of course, this advice which you have given, I believe the learners and the young litigants who are going to go in this particular field, they should definitely opt for.
yes, in fact, if someone wants to practice and join litigation, there should be a mandatory internship in the district courts. In fact, if he
Exactly.
or she wants to pursue
Mhm.
litigation or being an advocate as a profession, there has to be. And I have so many changes and reformative thoughts are there in my mind, and I believe that in order to bring some change, you first have to be resourceful,
Resourceful. True.
and
Very true.
only then very resourceful, knowledgeable, uh, enough to bring a change, and then you can help the society or the people in general. And seriously speaking, I mean, I drew this inspiration from the announcement of aircraft कि दूसरों की सहायता करने से पहले अपना मास्क पहले पहने.
Very good. Yes.
So it's very
Point to be
important
noted.
कि आप पहले अपना मास्क पहने and then
And
you start
uh,
assisting
others.
people and
Mm.
bringing change in the society.
So, one thing which I actually liked is about the mandatory internship which you're talking about in the trial
Yes.
court. So, what happened that people do internship, but in kind of fashion. these days. The students do that, but in the kind of fashion. And if seriously you want to practice law and you want to do something for the society, and if you're taking and thinking that it's a noble profession, I think this is something which should be inculcated even in the academics. That if you're going for internship, there has to be some serious internship with respect to the trial courts, where you're learning all these through cut through. So when you are imparting that kind, or when you are executing that part, you are totally convinced with what you are doing. Because अभी जैसे हमने डिस्कस किया,
हाँ,
what you mentioned कि खुद की सहायता पहले करो, तो आप
हाँ,
पहले खुद से कंफर्म हो जाओ कि आप जो चीज बोल रहे हो
जाना,
या कर रहे हो.
do you even want to go there or not?
Exactly.
And if that happens, ma'am, I think this 3-year mandatory practice that the new judgment has come, that
Yes.
will not be required.
Exactly, exactly.
Your
And
internships,
we mentioned about the previous postcard session. You might have seen that I have asked my previous
ah,
guest about to comment on this,
right,
about
right.
the litigation. So since you have mentioned, so do you have any take on this?
On the 3-year mandatory
Yes,
practice that
yes,
has to be there, there can be alternatives.
yes.
And I think there will be disastrous consequences for the law aspirants, especially girls. That I believe I received so many calls from my colleagues, my juniors who were preparing for this judicial examination, and it is not their fault. Surprisingly, it is not their fault.
It's not their fault.
But there can be alternatives, and there can be a dialogue. So a review petition is also already filed before
Although,
the Honorable
yes.
Supreme Court. So let us see what happens.
What
I
happened?
believe that there has to be some leniency
Hmm.
in this aspect. The training period can be increased.
Hmm.
So the point of view of the Honorable Supreme Court is also not wrong,
Wrong.
because I have personally experienced it. The learned magistrates who have recently joined the services, they are taking 5-6 months to decide one page of application.
Hmm.
So they
So
lack the confidence in
confidence.
themselves,
Hmm.
because they have become judge at a very early stage, and not everyone is acquainted and everyone is a quick learner.
Hmm.
Sometimes they have to go through a rigorous training. So
Hmm.
the training period can be increased. The training could be more rigorous.
Hmm.
The duration of that probation period, or that training in which they have to sit beside a particular judge, that period can be increased.
Increase.
So there are many options, but
Alternative measures which can be.
alternative measures, but clearing away everything and then imposing something, and which is definitely violative of some constitutional rights, fundamental rights that they are
And
having. So,
yes.
that is all. I think there's a lot of scope of a dialogue before the Supreme Court, with the Supreme Court, and if I get this chance, I'll definitely do this.
Let's see how these things turn the shape.
Yeah, I hope for the best, and I think things will be better
Will be
in the
better.
future.
Shaurya, since you have been connected to the society, you've been connected to the litigation at large. So I just want to ask you your views, that you are someone who is actually connecting with so many wider societal contexts. So how do you see the role of a lawyer who is basically shaping the public discourse at large?
And
Do you have any views related to that?
a lot of views, in fact. So,
And
so the
before you answer, I'll also tell you that why did I ask this question, or why am
uh,
I portraying this question to you? Because, in a generalized sense, when I teach professional ethics, so the first thing which we teach that, advocacy is a noble profession. But at the same point of time, I am just imparting them that advocacy is a noble profession. How is that a noble profession is something which I am not the right person to tell at this point of time. So I want you to become that mouth and say that why are we saying this?
actually, I was attending one of the seminars in which some designated senior advocate, he stated that is talking about this paper of professional ethics, and he said, write everything in that paper what we don't do. So
Okay, understood. I know where you're going now.
So there are a lot of things, there are a lot of aspects that we can talk about. On papers, yes, advocacy is a very noble profession. We are not only protecting the popular, we are not only protecting the popular voices, but the unpopular voices as well.
Unpopular voices as well.
We are being the voices of the people who are not heard. And this profession, the advocate is has to be so equipped that he can raise the voice from being unheard to be heard. And there are a lot of things that we talk. In fact, this band we talk about, this also has some significance that this
Mm.
is law and this is justice, and these are both sides, and this thread is the thread of law that binds both of them. So there are a lot of things, and very. I'm also curious about knowing many things about the nobility of this profession. But this was a noble profession at the time of colonial era. So in gown there used to be a pocket.
Mm.
There is a pocket in that gown. If you, if I
Mm.
may show this to your viewers, this is the pocket that we
Mm.
receive on the gown. So it's often said that this pocket was initially framed because lawyers did not charge any fees from the clients. They just turned their back, and it is said that okay, keep anything that is possible. So at that point of time, there were pleaders, there were barristers who came from England and started practicing in princely estates. So they were already so what do you say, enriched and wealthy people who used to be the lawyers. But nowadays, I think this pocket is replaced with QR code. And it is a noble profession because we speak up for the people who cannot speak, who cannot stand. We stand up for those,
We stand up for
and
those.
and hence this brings nobility
Mm.
in the society. And it's very essential because not everyone can defend him or herself. And it is often said that हम अपराधियों को बचाते हैं, and we
बचाते हैं.
protect the wrong people of the society, and they should. So this is not on us to decide whether they are criminals or not. This is not for the media to decide whether they are criminals or not. I absolutely hate and disgust media trials,
Mm.
and they do not know anything about that, but why that judgment was passed, or they just keep commenting upon those things, or decide whether the person is guilty or not. No, this is the question. This is on the court to decide. This is not on us. हम अपराधियों को अगर बचाते हैं तो अपराधियों को हम सजा भी दिलवाते हैं.
दिलवाते हैं. Mm.
Yes, yes. And as a state's counsel uh,
Mm.
in the Supreme Court, this is my practically this is my job
Mm.
to assess the prosecution
Mm.
for the Honorable Supreme Court. So yeah, that is why I think it becomes very noble.
Noble profession.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much for putting it in a structurized format, because we know
I
that we have uh,
I tried my best, man. Yeah.
yes, you actually did, because now I actually have an answer when we say pro bono, then I can actually give
Mm.
an explanation that what this particular pro bono actually means. Because hearing these words and talking about it.
Who can know it better from other than you, ma'am? You conduct that the P.N. Bhagwati moot court. When Justice Bhagwati is the HEMS person for this
Him
pro
person
bono
for
and
this
legal
pro bono.
aid and bringing this legal aid services
Exactly,
act.
exactly. But
Uh,
then again, like I mentioned, that when you're teaching something, and at the same point when you face something in a more practical situation, and coming from someone who is actually doing it in a daily basis, makes a
mm.
lot of difference.
Right,
So
right, right.
yes, so thank you for putting it in this way. And now I think that I'm having a lot of takeaways for my lectures also from this podcast. uh,
Ma'am, I'm
Shaurya, we'll.
privileged.
No,
Right.
seriously. Shaurya, this was actually something which was coming from heart, I think. So, yes, of course. Please
Thank you so much,
take
ma'am.
that
Thank you
as a
so much. Means a
compliment.
lot.
Yes.
It means a lot. Means a lot.
So, okay, so we have a new segment while we close the
Mm,
podcast. So, we have a new
mm,
segment which has been introduced, and this was being stated by my students and my team that we need to do it
mm.
with our guest. So it's a kind
Mm.
of rapid fire, but like I mentioned, and I always give a disclaimer, I am not giving any hamper. So this is just a rapid fire.
I'm
Okay.
thankful that I'm not sitting in coffee with Karan. And we are actually having some intellectual academic discussion.
Intellectual academic discussion. We are away from what goes in and around, because like now, since you have mentioned this, there's also something which I have a perspective about with respect to media trial. Very
Mm.
rightly pointed out that when we are talking about media trial, what happens that you are no one to know that what is happening. Like for instance, take any case, you can take the Arushi case, the most famous one. The society becomes the judgmental factor. You don't know what is going in and out, but at the same point, what is being imparted to us in the name of freedom of speech and expression is something has been a takeaway from the the television which we are watching, or
Correct.
the reels, the posts, the tweets which we are seeing. So
Mm.
I think that is somewhere down the line there has to be some restriction and some limitations related to it. There has to be some limitation. So that is my view which is coming across, because since you mentioned about media and we discuss about this, so yes, of course, what you said is rightly being pointed out, just has to be channelized a bit. That's what I feel.
Channelized, absolutely. There is a system, there is TRI, there are telecom regulations, regulations and laws are there. But how effective they are, how much we are protective about right to speech, right to a free trial is also a thing.
Exactly, right to
Article
free
21. So that gets hampered if you do media trial. That's not a free trial.
free
It
trial.
creates a prejudice in the eyes and minds of the courts.
So yes,
That's a
that has to be channelized a
That
bit.
has to be channelized, that has to be checked.
Okay. So moving towards the segment, the
Yes,
last segment,
the
yes,
last one.
the last part of it. Although I don't want to end it because we're having too many intellectual discussions, I'm kind of enjoying. But one case that changed your advocacy style. I think I know that, but I want to hear from you.
I don't know whether anyone knows this or not, but there is one matter, and this UVSL is a matter of UVSL, and I was representing the Retail Investors Welfare Association before the NCLAT,
Okay.
and I argued that matter in Hindi in NCLAT.
Okay.
Because there was this I won't take his name. So the judge was from Jharkhand High Court, and he was in fact the district judge at that time when we were studying in Ranchi.
Okay.
So he had this strange demeanor towards the court, and he was like, the I used to practice in civil courts, and you people don't know how to argue it here, and you just speak some flowery and fussy words in English, and you think that you can befool me and all. So I quickly came. I don't know how I managed that. I forgot how to argue in Hindi at that point of time, and I quickly switched from my lords to huzur.
Hmm.
And then I argued that matter in Hindi. In fact, my the opposite counsel was very much amazed by this.
Hmm.
So I think that case is very going to be very peculiar and unique in my heart.
Also because you have to be, you have to be very quick. Your reflex action should work very promptly.
Yes,
So
because he
that
was
is
saying that you are just befooling me just by using good and fussy words in English. So I said nahi. I switched to
very
my
honest.
this trial court
Hmm.
muscle memory that
So
worked.
these
That
actually
saved
these
me.
are the practical experiences. To be very honest, these are the
Correct.
practical experiences. Hmm.
Exactly. This is why the internships has to be mandatory.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, Shaurya, one lesson from the Supreme Court you still carry every day with you.
Always check the cause list physically, so that if your item number is 52, don't jump on 51 or 50.
Hmm.
Becomes very embarrassing. That is all.
So
Because
when you say
I
50,
did it once.
yes.
I did it once. I just jumped over the podium. I thought my matter has come. because my clerk has said it is this, but it was not 51, it was 52.
52.
And I jumped there and I started arguing, and the judge was perplexed, the opposite counsel was perplexed, and surprisingly, no one was appearing from that side. So no one was there to tell me that you are in the wrong matter. This is
Wrong
my matter.
place.
Mr. Counsel, please, please sit aside. So that
Okay,
was my
okay.
experience before Justice Oak, I remember. And then
Okay,
he
and
somehow took it humorously.
no, so since you mentioned Justice Oak, you might be aware of the fact
Ah,
that he was one of my,
right,
chief guests when I called
right,
him, and
right,
I
right.
had
I
a great
remember.
time. Yes, I had
I
a great
remember.
time
You
interacting
must
with
be
him.
having a yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's a great personality, and I believe a book in himself. So much
Correct,
to say, so much to talk about. So
correct,
yes, of
correct, correct.
course. Now I can correlate your court observance.
Right, 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 right.
Yes. Okay. Now since you're working and you're going to the trial court as well, so any moment from the trial court you will never forget.
Yes, I was arguing one discharge application of a very famous gangster of Delhi NCR. I won't name him. So he was. I'll tell you the gist of why it was so interesting. So he also came there. He was standing back at the witness box with the handcuffs and police. So there was so much of police protection was there, and the police was standing aside. He was not like protecting him, or he was उसको घेर के कोई नहीं खड़ा हुआ था. And then I met him for the first time, that gangster, because he was in jail. My job was,
Mhm.
I was meeting with his relatives and all, and the matter was about to start. And then he said, and कि भाई आप वकील साहब चिंता मत करो, आप एकदम खुल के बहस करो, ये सब वकील सब अपने ही हैं. So I said कि हाँ मतलब वकील तो अपने ही हैं. Many young lawyers were standing in black, white gown, proper not gown, black and black coat, white shirt, that pant and all. मैंने कहा कि हाँ अपने तो हैं. कि नहीं नहीं, अपने मतलब हमारे आदमी हैं, सबके जो है कट्टे रखे हुए हैं, आप बस आर्ग्यू करो, वहां जाके बहस कर लो अच्छी से, मुझे छुड़वा दो वकील साहब. And I was like, इतना टेंशन है क्या? So when I was arguing in that matter, I keep looking back. ऐसा कहीं कुछ रेड डॉट तो नहीं आ रही मेरे सर पे कहीं आसपास and all.
Oh God.
So I
So
can
right
never forget
from
that experience.
Supreme Court to High Court to trial court to quasi judicial bodies, I think Shaurya, you have lessons.
No, I have a lot of experience. I have diverse experiences in this field, and I love it. I
So
still
that
love it.
actually,
I can't go to trial courts more often now, but I love to, since vacations are going on. So I'm just making the most of it, and I'm going to the trial courts and arguing the matters. But I miss going to the trials.
so when you travel so much and when you go from court to court, so what do you prefer, tea or coffee?
Tea in the morning, and then black coffee sustains me.
So coffee before court or after? Now that's the part of the rapid fire.
Before court starts, in between two matters, and in between the second and the third matter as well.
Now that was a very specific answer
And
again.
then in the evening, and then while having this podcast.
So it's a constant process.
It's a constant process.
It's a
Coffee
constant.
is the only constant
It's
I
it's
have
a
in my life.
okay. So, before moving to the last question,
Yeah.
which is a kind of advice which I would like you to give to the students and to the listeners and to the people who are going to enter into litigation or who are
Hmm.
already into litigation, I just want to ask something from you, that is there any, a case law or any incident or anything of that sort? Because since you have mentioned so many, which you feel that yes, you can use this particular forum to talk about, or is there any takeaway from that matter?
Yeah, I'll start from the last one, the matters that I should be talking about. I appeared in a matter before the Honorable Supreme Court, and I was representing state. I'm discussing the failure of the state, my failed case, you may say, in which I failed terribly, and
Failures are
what
the
lessons
biggest
that
lessons of life.
yes, lessons of life, and it opened up my eyes when I saw it myself, that yes, these things. happen. And we often read it in newspapers and all that after 25 years or 20 years of trial, the court came to the conclusion that this person who is languishing in jail since so many years is not guilty and he
Okay.
gets acquitted. So it's one of the matter that
Mm.
I recently appeared in Supreme Court, that is Gambhir Singh versus State of UP.
Mm.
Uh, it was pronounced in the month of January, in the month of February. It was argued
Okay.
in January.
Mm.
It was a capital punishment case in
Okay.
which I was representing the state, and he
Mm.
was represented by one amicus. He was
Okay.
not well, very well represented, not in the Supreme Court, not even before the Honorable High Court, and definitely not before the learned trial court.
Okay.
So there was an allegation upon him that he murdered his brother's wife, the pregnant wife with a fetus, and three small children of 2 years of age, 5 years of age, and 8 years of age.
Okay.
So it was a very, you know, traumatic kind of a case this was.
Mm.
When you were reading the facts, when you were reading the post-mortem report and everything. So it was a criminal appeal. So now I love arguing the appeals and the
Mm.
matters that involves the complete trial before the Honorable Supreme Court. So when I was doing that, was one of my first criminal appeals. And the court came to conclusions that during the trial as well as the prosecution failed to establish a lot of things. So there was not a single last scene. The motive was not established by
Okay.
the prosecution and the learned trial court. And however, High Court has already upheld it. So motive was not there. There was no last scene. The story was cooked. The story was not proper at all. And then I realized the importance of a lawyer. He was granted a capital punishment
Okay.
by the learned sessions judge in Agra. And then in High Court also confirmed it. And now the Supreme Court, when it looked at the matter entirely,
Mm.
they reversed the judgment. After 13 and a half years or 14 years, he got acquitted. After 13 years, we have come to know that he was not the one who killed those people. But
But
it is not and again, the irony is this is not the prerogative of a lawyer. It is not a prerogative of Indian courts to figure out who killed them then.
exactly. Exactly.
So that opened up my eyes that this happens.
This
And
happens.
I understood the importance of an advocate for a litigant. So he was not properly represented before the Honorable High Court. One amicus was appointed, and he was not giving proper answers to the court. And the prosecution was quite heavy in that case. But in Supreme Court, thankfully, the honorable judges they see it from a different kind of perspective. That's why we call them lordships.
Lordships.
So they also tried to understand that he was not properly represented before the the
Mm.
Honorable High Court and the subordinate court, and they considered the points uh, that were not raised. They asked the questions that were not asked, and surprisingly, we did not have any such answers. And Supreme Court has like thrashed us like anything.
I think eye opener. Like I can.
Yes, because for a lawyer, I do not associate myself only as a state lawyer or as a prosecutor.
Hmm.
Sometimes I'll be a judge as well.
Hmm.
So this experience is going to help me a lot when I'll be
Hmm.
arguing from the different side, from the side
Hmm.
of the defense.
Defense. True. And when you're a lawyer, you need to be prepared from both the ends, no
Correct,
matter
correct,
what comes to your hand. Great, great. I
exactly,
think,
exactly.
this particular case actually answered so many different things which we keep on learning and we keep on reading that yes, these things do happen in a practical situation. This is how the
Mm.
practical scenario is. And yes, of course, civil trial and civil things, we are very much aware of the fact that yes, of course, civil disputes do take a lot of time. But then
Mm.
when it is coming to criminal, and then such things which are coming to our hand, which is just like an eye opener, and it's actually a kind of learning thing from both the ends, that how
And
people act and how the
correct.
situation is.
Exactly. Exactly, ma'am. And regarding the suggestion that I have to give to the law students and
Yes,
the young aspirants, young lawyers, there are two broad, and both of them are very important, equally important. So they should follow both of these advices in case they want to have a successful life as a lawyer, as an advocate. First, if they are in college, uh, have fun, have a blast, don't leave anything.
like we had.
But yes, like we had. So don't leave anything aside. Do it, but at the same time, if you do not want to go into the library, it's very taxing for sometimes for a law student. Please understand that. So if you don't want to do that, open the website of official website of Supreme Court. In the menu column, there is a head that's named latest judgments. So in every 2 or 3 days, 4 or 5 reported judgments are uploaded there. So give it a week, give it 2 weeks, give it a month, but at least read one judgment, latest judgment of the Honorable Supreme Court, the latest reported one, the latest laws that are framed, that are laid down by the Supreme Court. So read that and read all the provisions. No, not don't only read between the lines, read between the words. In fact, one
Mhm.
comma has a definition, and it can change the entire context,
Entire thing. Very true.
entire thing. So read that with that intensity. I don't think that will take much of your time and much of your freedom. So do that. That's my first suggestion. Second is like, subscribe, and share this channel.
Thank you so much.
They'll definitely rise, ma'am. I think this is going to be a remarkable journey.
Thank you, Shaurya. And I just
Anytime.
want to tell you something. I don't feel that this was a kind of legal conversation which was going on. To be very honest and really take mark my words, this is a kind of master class in a courtroom which you have set up across.
Thank you so
Actually,
much, ma'am.
because what you were doing, you were actually sharing all the practical things which takes place. Even the suggestions which is coming, the cases which you spoke about, I think everything is have a certain outcome. So this
Right.
is not like, I won't say it's like a normal dialogue which was happening. You actually opened a textbook. So
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
this is what I wanted to say with respect to the basic disciplines which we need to follow, the culture, including the sensitivity, the matters which you are involved in and arguing, how that has to be portrayed today. So that
Correct.
is amazing. I think the words which you have put across, the vocabularies which you have used, the verbatums which we should consider, everything hang on. So I
Thank you
am
so much, ma'am.
really,
Thank you so much.
I think not the listeners, even I am quite impressed with whatever we discussed today. And yes, of course, I did learn a lot, which I am definitely going to use in my upcoming lectures.
No, ma'am, please do it. And I'm very thankful that you considered me eligible to be a part of this remarkable journey. And I always like being someone who starts something new. As I'm also a kind of a explorer and a curious person, and it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of guts to start something new. And kudos to you,
Thank you.
and best wishes from my end. And
Thank
if anything require for you, for your students, for the content, I'm always there, or
thank
always there for this channel,
thank
ma'am,
you.
and
Thank
always
you.
there for you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much, Shaurya. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
doing this. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.